Greetings, Fright Nights and Monster Girls. I'm Count Jackula.
And I'm the Horror Guru.
We just saw Netflix's haunted, chilling adventures of Sabrina.
Chilling, not haunted.
One of those, you know?
But this is a really fun show.
Yeah. As the resident Satanist, I have to say that the beginning of the show is not as aggressively pro-Satan as I would have liked. It's
not really a pro-Satan show at all.
No, not really. But once we get to the point where it's like, oh no, Satan's got like his master plan for what he's gonna do, and he's got it all under control, despite what anyone fucking thinks. It's sort of like, all right, yeah.
I mean, he's the primary antagonist of the show, basically.
Yeah.
Every other antagonist is either working for him or loosely connected to him. Right?
Yeah. But one of the things I kind of liked is like not everyone who's working for him is on the same page.
No. Not everyone working for him is on the same page. And not everyone working against him is on the same page, so.
Yeah.
You have these different factions of witches and stuff.
Yeah. And I think one of the things I probably want to touch on briefly, because people kept asking me about it, was, so what's the deal with the Satanic Temple and the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina on Netflix? And it really all comes down to the fact that they have a copy of the Baphomet statue that they had made for their political protests in the fucking show. Now that's the real crux of everything. Everything else is kind of like this bizarre hearsay, but that's the real thing. And so they're going to go to court, and
they just settled out of court, actually.
Oh, they just settled out of court. Oh, yep. Excellent. That's what I get for not being on Facebook today.
Yep.
All right. So they settled out of court, and everything's groovy, because the funny thing was when I first heard this, it was like, they're suing over the likeness of Baphomet. And I'm like, you can't fucking sue over the likeness of Baphomet. Fucking Satanic Temple, you've gone too far. And then I saw it, and I was like, oh, it's the same statue. Yeah. You need to give somebody some fucking money. Like holy fucking crap.
And that we do know is they paid some sort of money. We do not know what kind of money. What we don't know is whether or not the statue is going to be changed in the next season, or if they're going to remove the statue or what. But what we do know is they settled to some sort of agreement.
Yeah. They got an agreement, so everything's gravy now. Mm-hmm. Overall, I really like the show.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's Archie Comics origins never overtake what's happening.
No, it's just there in the kind of cheesy melodrama that surrounds everything.
Yeah. It's not like Riverdale where you're like, please stop.
Well, because Riverdale wanted to be Twin Peaks, but it never feels like it goes all the way.
No.
Whereas this show goes all the way.
Well, how to put it, that's something that you can do when you introduce the supernatural. When you have, like, the bona fide supernatural, you can have the evil twin personality.
Well, yeah.
You can have possession. You can have shit like that. Whereas when they do it in Riverdale, you're like, please stop. Please stop. Dark Betty, give me a fucking break.
This show can commit to everything it does. Like, you can actually have characters kill each other and bring themselves back from the dead. You can have all this fucked up shit. You can have sex, ample amounts of sex.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah.
All this stuff that Riverdale didn't really have because it's a CW show, so it can only go so far. Whereas I feel like if Riverdale was able to go this far, a lot of my faults with it would be less important because it'd be more entertaining.
Yeah. Also, I feel like Riverdale could also deal with being a shorter show. Because there's a lot that happens, but in a season, but you also find yourself going like, wow, a lot's going on. That doesn't matter.
That's true.
Yeah. It's like, quick, fake out. The real killer is, but it wasn't that time either. You're like, all right.
Don't worry. We'll reveal the real killer at the last minute because you forgot about that plot.
Oh my God. Yeah. And if you're like, geez, Jack, you seem to know a lot about Riverdale. That's because someone's girlfriend made us watch it. So I now have a head full of fucking Riverdale, and I'm going to tell you, it's dumber than advertised.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb.
Yeah,
it's pretty dumb.
It's pretty bad. But
It's
Sabrina,
got its funny moments.
It has some moments, but
Sabrina's fantastic.
Sabrina is amazing. That's a really good one.
Sabrina is like an apology for Riverdale, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, yeah, like it's still the same basic setup.
Mm-hmm.
Got a teenage witch who lives with her 2 aunts.
Yeah,
but in this one, their house is a mortuary.
Yeah, they live on a graveyard slash mortuary, where they cremate bodies and shit like that.
Yeah. They perform wakes.
They're the town's mortuary.
Yeah. They're the funeral home.
Yeah.
And Sabrina's got to go for her sweet 16 on her. I forget. Oh God, what did they actually call it?
God damn it, I forget. But it's like the unholy 16 or something like that.
Yeah.
You're basically, when you turn 16, that's when you have to separate from the human world and become one with the witch world. And this requires a whole bunch of sacrifice. This requires you to sign your name in a book.
Yep.
This requires you to pledge your loyalty to Satan and all this stuff, which becomes the main crux of like the first part of the show. Is her basically deciding whether or not she wants to abandon all her human friends and join the witch world, or if she wants to abandon the witch world to be with her human friends, and yada, yada, yada. Obviously, if you know anything about Sabrina the Teenage Witch, there's only really one option, and that's for her to not abandon either.
Yeah, she has to become the master tour.
But as to how that happens, you can find that out.
Yeah. Now, something happens at the beginning that at first made me go, oh shit, we're going here. We're going to be doing this. Which is in the first few episodes, Sabrina and her friends make like a feminist group in
Wicca
school.
Wicca.
Yeah, women intersectional. They come up with it.
It has a long acronym.
Yeah,
it's Wicca.
And I'm sitting there going, oh God, please no. Please don't do this. This plot line never works. It's always insulting. And
I did not have that.
They didn't happen. No, oh God, yeah, I had that. I was like, oh God, it's gonna be 80s sitcom all over again. And no, they didn't do that. It wasn't awful. It wasn't overbearing. It was quite simple. It's basically the little social club that Sabrina and her friends have.
Yeah, to protect each other from the fact that there are bullies and the school isn't doing anything.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason why it exists.
Yeah.
And eventually it evolves into like them fighting the school when the school reveals that it's been hiding books from students.
Yeah.
There's a secret banned list of books.
Yeah. Also, the club is started because there is a group of evil jock bullies.
Yep.
You gotta have those. I was glad about that. I was like, oh yeah. Yeah, it's Sabrina the Teenage Witch. You gotta have jock bullies. Come on.
It's Sabrina the Teenage Witch. There was going to be jock bullies. It's like there's certain things that are going to be there.
Yeah, I also like that the every setting like this needs to have like the tavern or whatever, the place where everyone goes.
Oh yeah,
like Buffy the Vampire Slayer had that nightclub.
Yep.
This one's actually got a comic book shop.
Oh, it's a comic book / cafe.
Yeah.
Called Cerberus Books.
Yeah.
that's run by a horror host.
This show subverted expectation all the best ways.
Oh, it did a really great job of that the entire way through. Every time you thought something was going to happen, they did this really awesome twist on it.
Yeah.
And plus it was a continuation of Riverdale, so you kind of have an expectation going in. And the show shows you right away that it goes way farther.
Oh yeah, no, it's not Riverdale. First episode murder, straight up, and you're just like, oh,
murder and flat out demons. I was a little worried that they were gonna hold off on the supernatural and take time.
Exactly.
But the first episode is demon. She already has powers that she uses and stuff like that.
Yeah. The demon eating somebody is one of the first things that happens. Yep. You're like, holy crap. That demon just ate that old woman.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I guess we're just gonna do this. So that was definitely a good sign. I really like the relationship between Sabrina and her aunts. Mm-hmm. As great. Well as the relationship
and the development of those relationships as the season goes on. They're in one place at the beginning of the show, and by the end of it, they're all actually brought more together than they were at the beginning, and it's nice. It's very organic and natural, despite the fact that there's a lot of melodrama in between.
Yes. Yeah, very much so. And there's also a character called Ambrose, her cousin.
Ambrose is one of my favorite characters on the show. He's basically this show's like Captain Jack Harkness, you know? He's
a witch that for some reason is imprisoned in the house.
Yeah, he's been hexed by the council that they're all part of. The head council of their coven.
Yeah.
And he's been hexed so that he cannot leave the premises of their mortuary for reasons you find out as the show goes on.
Yeah. And they get a lot into like the way the coven is organized.
Oh yeah. It's definitely like, it's interesting. It's like this is the one part of the show that I both love, but I also think is the clunkiest part of the show. And that's when they try to draw the parallels, because they're obviously commenting on the Catholic Church, but using this witch coven.
But using Satanism to
the problem with that is that it's a little bit clunky, because it's like, okay, well, they're witches, but it's still a patriarchy. And it's just like, it's a little clunky, but if you roll with it, it's a lot of fun. Like,
it doesn't disappoint. And, of course, Sabrina has to learn a lot of lessons. One is that she can't fix everything.
Yes, she can't fix everything, and she can't do everything on her own.
Nope.
Her big problem with this is she feels like she needs to be the savior of everyone, and so she needs to go off and do everything and protect everyone. But as a result of that, she ends up having to make these really dark and awful choices along the way that lead her down a really awful path. Because if she had her friends there and there were more people to pick up the slack, she wouldn't have to do that.
Yeah, exactly. They make that is made very clear. So in many ways, it's the story of like white savior girl realizes, oh shit, I actually can't get this job done.
Yes.
It's like, yes, you can't do it alone.
I should tell my friends about what I am because they can help me with this, and then I wouldn't have to do this all on my own. And then I wouldn't be a murderer. Like,
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, I like the fact that all of our friends end up like kind of having a thing that they have.
Yeah, they all have like an interesting backstory of their family, because everyone's been in this town for a long time. Their families go back lineages, and so each of their families have something important to them that we find out over the course of the show. Yeah, that they eventually becomes their thing.
Yeah, like her black friend, she sees the truth.
Yes, she's got essentially like a shining.
Yeah.
It's called the Cunning on the show, but it's basically the shining without moving objects.
Yeah. She has no telekinesis, but like everything she sees is true if she can just figure out.
She can sense things and feel things. And over the course of the show, she develops that power.
Yeah.
One of her other friends turns out to be descended from witch hunters.
Yeah. And so the one thing that he has is that he can sense the supernatural.
Yep. One of her other friends was descended by, we don't know too much about this one. Even the first season doesn't reveal too much.
No, it doesn't.
But by someone who brought the witches over to the West.
Yeah. She's
a very important person.
She's descended from a person who like saved the witches way back when.
But she like appears to her as a ghost and gives her advice over the course of the show of a course of action. Yeah. And so that kind of becomes her thing. She can consult this dead
she
ancestor.
can consult this ghost that knows like a ton of shit. And one of the things that's interesting about that character is, once again, this is something that the show could have done real bullshit, but it didn't. Which was the character who has the ghost ancestor is some form of gender fluid.
Yeah. Either gender fluid, gender queer, or trans.
Yeah.
The thing that's very clear on the show is that she's referred to as she on the show a lot. I believe her name is Jess.
Yeah.
And she's referred to that because the characters around her don't know yet.
Yeah. She never tells anybody.
Even in this season, she's just kind of figuring it out for herself. She's not out.
Yeah. She doesn't even, in the beginning, she doesn't even know enough to be out.
Yes, she doesn't really know, and she learns stuff about her family's past, and like, she used to have this really butch ancestor, and like her uncle used to wear dresses and all that stuff. So she like learns that there's more to her, just even on her family line than normal, and she's like developing that. So I know a lot of people got mad because they're just like, oh, why are they constantly calling her a she if she's a boy or whatever? I'm like, because she hasn't told anyone. Yeah.
She doesn't. she actually never flat out tells anybody.
You know, and then the big clue as to what she really is and what she's going to figure out is when the aunt of the other friend who has the cunning and is blind immediately refers to her as a handsome young boy.
Yeah, it's like, who's that young man over there?
Yeah.
You know, like,
that's what the show thinks. That's where ultimate develop is her coming to terms with that.
It's her realizing that whatever gender thing is happening with her is a thing that's happening to her. And it's real.
She hasn't figured it out yet. She's not out to her friends. So up until this point in the show, she's still a she, but eventually she's going to be a he.
Yeah. Because you can tell that it's one of those things where like the friends just kind of accept her.
Yeah.
And Sabrina is probably the one that understands it the least other than her.
Well, yeah.
Because she's sort of like, oh, no, it's okay. You're pretty. You're fine. You know?
But the thing is that she gets made fun of at school for being butch.
Yeah, exactly.
So like,
exactly.
The jocks keep beating her up for being like a bully and stuff like that. So her friend just forms a women's group. And like, she doesn't know that her friend's going through this trans thing yet.
Yeah. She just knows she's being bullied.
Yeah. You know? Maybe she also assumes that her friend is actually a lesbian or something. Like maybe.
Exactly.
Like, she doesn't know.
Exactly. She doesn't. Yeah. Sabrina doesn't actually understand what is going on.
But this was an interesting thing. I actually found out reading about it afterwards was that actor that plays that character is genderqueer themselves, and he, when reading that script, initially the character was out earlier.
Oh.
But he asked and requested that they don't have the character out earlier because it'd be more interesting to watch the character learn for themselves.
Oh, I gotta agree. Yeah. That was a good call.
So.
You know?
Like, originally, there was no, like, Wicca, like, in that way, you know, like...
Yeah.
That was something that was developed later on, basically because the actor asked.
Well, yeah, because we don't get to... That's it. That's a fascinating part of that journey that no one ever talks about.
So that actor puts a lot of themselves into their journey in this thing, which makes it a lot more authentic than it would normally otherwise.
Oh, yeah, it totally worked. It absolutely fucking worked, you know. I like the fact that the ants feel they feel they're somewhere between like young baby boomers and aging Gen Xers.
A little bit. Yeah. They're supposed to be ancient. Like they're supposed to have been around for a long time. Like they keep making like offhand jokes about like playing like poker with random old celebrities and shit like that. What was it, like Queen Victoria's party, getting drunk and getting naked?
Oh, yeah. She's like, I haven't been this drunk since Queen Victoria's inauguration or what? Not the inauguration.
Wedding or something like that.
Yeah, or whenever they fucking like crown her,
it was something like
crown
that.
a queen or whatever. She's like, I woke up on the shores of the Thames completely naked, you know? I love Aunt Hilda. Yeah.
It's a great show. It's a great character. The characters are great. And Zelda's great too, like as just this overbearing matriarch who, over the course of the show, becomes way more compassionate than she was at the beginning.
Yeah. Aunt Zelda's, they do a really good job of making you not like Aunt Zelda, only to turn you around on that later, you know. And then there is a character we haven't talked a lot about, which is Sabrina's like dark mentor, the one who's constantly pushing her in a bad direction.
The teacher that has been possessed by a demon.
Yeah, the teacher who's possessed by a demon in the first episode is just constantly pushing Sabrina to make bad decisions.
That's something I think a lot of people, reading some people's comments about the season, they didn't seem to get. And it's weird because it's the plot of the show that this character is constantly pushing her away from her friends.
Oh, yeah.
Because this character wants her to be separate from the human world, so she'll 100% join the witch world.
Yep.
So she's pushing her away from her friends deliberately so that she will do everything off on her own. And she is deliberately pushing her towards the evil options.
Yeah.
So Sabrina is, making a lot of selfish and evil choices over the course of the show, but it's because she's being manipulated. That's
The shoulder demon is fucking pushing her.
Yeah, the shoulder demon is pushing her, and her angels are being locked away, so she can't...
Yeah, I'm actually, I wonder, I want to go back and see if every time the teacher makes an evil suggestion, whether she's on the left-hand side.
That would be interesting. It's possible.
Yeah. But, you know, that was... It was really good. Salem does appear.
Salem's awesome
in the show.
He doesn't talk the way he used to on the old show.
No.
But they can understand him.
Yeah.
But he's a lot of fun the way they do it.
Yeah, he says in the very beginning he talks, but that's before he becomes a cat.
He's in cat form. Yeah.
Yeah, because in this one he's not like a magical cat. He's like a monster.
I think before he was like an uncle that was trapped in cat form or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But in this one, he's like straight up like a spirit.
Like a goblin.
Yeah, like...
yeah, like a goblin turned familiar.
Yeah, because Sabrina goes out and tries to catch a wild familiar.
And he's fucking badass in the show.
Oh my god,
He's fucking bad. Every time he comes and saves Sabrina from some sort of monster, it's awesome.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. This show has monsters. You know?
Yes. Yeah, it has straight up monsters, which is quite refreshing.
One of the things that I've been lamenting with modern horror shows, that even ones I love like Supernatural, is that we don't get the full-faced demons anymore. We only get like eyes change or something like that. Whereas with this show, they actually do the full makeup and animatronics and actually have monsters.
Yeah,
again.
they do. Yeah, every time like Satan shows up, it's like a fucking like
giant fucking
huge guy with a goat head. And shit.
And he looks like 10 feet tall.
Yeah,
he's got hooves.
Yeah, they do a great job. And even like some of like the evil, there are enemy witches.
Yes.
In the show, and they explain why that is.
The Weird Sisters are some of those enemy witches.
Yeah. But some of the enemy witches are like really super like fucking Grimm's fairy tale.
Oh god,
ugly.
yeah.
Yeah, you're just like, whoa!
Even some of the not enemy witches, like when they meet that one witch in the woods with a giant eye.
that huge eye, yeah.
And some of the demons, like the fucking makeup and shit, I'm like, oh, like there's one demon that looks straight up like Evil Dead,
Oh yeah.
And then there's another one that looks like I don't know what to call it other than like it looks like something that you would have seen on Buffy.
Oh yeah. Like I'm kind of in many ways. It's the funny thing is of the 90s like supernatural shows, it does remind me the most of Buffy.
It's the closest to Buffy.
Yeah.
I mean, it does its own thing, and there's a lot more racial diversity at the forefront of this one.
Oh yeah.
Which makes them make a lot of different choices than Buffy would have made.
Yeah, well, they've also got this really cool conceit where basically what is happening is that instead of the mentor character being beneficent and understanding,
this
the
mentor's evil.
Actually evil.
This mentor's evil as fuck. Well, yeah, because she's a person caught between two worlds. One world which is a lot more morally gray, and one which is a lot more morally black and white.
Yeah. Yep, and she has to learn to navigate them.
Yep.
And that's the whole story. Actually, I really recommend this. I don't want to go into spoilers too much because I feel that's the show. And
it's a 10-episode show. Sit down and watch it at your own pace. We already gave away a lot of stuff right here.
Yeah.
But they aren't like the most like mind-blowing spoiler parts of the show.
No. We're not going to tell you how the Feast to Feast episodes ends up. That episode is fucking that shit got gnarly.
That's another thing I liked about the show was that they managed to do episodes that were clearly like inspired by horror stories.
Oh yeah.
They weren't like one-to-one with those horror stories. So like you knew like, oh, like they're kind of doing The Exorcist this episode, but it doesn't follow the plot of The Exorcist.
No.
One-to-one.
But you can tell that's what the inspiration is. And some of the titles give it away.
Yes.
You know, but one of the other things that I fucking loved is that the posters in the comic shop will change depending on the episode it's referencing.
Yep.
You know, like they're
like, hey, look, there's a poster of a zombie movie. I wonder if there's going to be
if there are going to be zombies in this. What was that? Yeah, what was the movie like? From Beyond the Grave?
Yeah. I think that's exactly what it was.
You know,
this is a show that opens up with the main characters going to a midnight screening of Night of the Living Dead.
Yes.
And then going to a fucking coffee shop that's like decked out with all these like horror movie posters to talk about the socio-political context of Night of the Living Dead. The show was made for me.
Oh yeah. No, the show's really good. Show's really good. You know, it's just that in the beginning it seems like they're going to do the all witches are evil except for Sabrina kind of thing.
Well,
and I was like,
you run that risk, and it is a little clunky in that regard. There's a whole episode in which she and another character get into the what do you call it? Like the atheist. How do you know what happens when you die? Conversation. And the problem with that conversation is that in the context of the show, that's really clunky. I get what you're trying to do. You're trying to have the atheist conversation, but instead of the Catholic and the atheist, it is the human witch and the witch. Yeah. The Satan-loving witch and the non-Satan-loving witch. But the problem with that context is that as you see over the course of the show, they do kind of know things that happen after you die.
Yeah. Because they make it very clear witches die differently.
Like up to the point they had that conversation, we had seen ghosts.
Yep.
We had learned about what happens to witches when they die versus what happens to humans when they die.
Yeah, we know there is an afterlife. We know there is a limbo.
Later on in the show, we do see what limbo is. Like, we learn all these things. And
actually, I gotta say that it's my favorite depiction on screen of limbo.
Oh god, that was a fantastically well done version of limbo. I don't want to give away too much, but
yeah, it was really good.
The top 10 moments of the show, definitely one of them was limbo.
It's one of those, we don't spend too much time there, but like the time we spend there is pretty quality.
But you have all these things, so like actually you do kind of know what happens after you die in this universe. So the atheist versus the Catholic style argument doesn't work as much in this context.
No, it really doesn't.
So that was like one of the few times on the show where I was sitting there going like, the writing's a little clunky here in this episode specifically with this exchange. Like, yeah,
you'll know it when you get to it, but with that, they still gave us that great ending.
Well, that still ended up being one of my favorite episodes. Even that little clunky exchange there leads to one of my favorite.
Yeah, I love the fact that Aunt Hilda really obviously is like starting a romance with the comic shop owner.
Oh yeah. Yep. The horror host guy.
Yeah, the horror host comic shop owner. She's like, "Oh, I love your show." Well, one of the things I also really liked is as the show goes on, they talk about this. They talk about the black church in these very like reverent tones. And you start to realize by the end of the show that the black church is just a single coven among many.
Yeah.
Because
they reveal over the course of the show that like, oh, this person's from another coven. This is like...
Yeah. And the other covens have different ways of doing
Which
things.
makes you wonder, like, are there multiple Satans? Do they all worship the same Satan?
Exactly.
Or is it like Catholics versus Protestants? They worship the same God, but have different beliefs.
Yeah. All that is possible, but they haven't explained that
But
yet.
what's weird about that is that in the context of the show, that would be very interesting because... in the context of the show, they have a direct line to Satan.
Yeah.
Like, there's literally people who sit down and talk to him on the show.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, he shows up, it happens, and you could say, well, maybe that's just the demon in the area, but we'll have to see what they do with it.
But that's, like, a good example of, like, what I mean, like, the Catholic analogy they're trying to make is a little clunky for that reason, that when you have the direct line to
what do you need the high priest for? Satan's right there.
When you have a direct line to the Lord, do you really need the high priest? And on top of that, why would there be different sects? Wouldn't you all follow the same gospel if the Lord could literally just tell you what to do?
Yeah, exactly. But they do that thing where like the priests are kind of trying to twist his words or get what they want.
It's very obvious over the course of the show that the current high priest of their coven resents everything the previous high priest did and is trying to undo all that.
Yep. Yeah, and that's and the big question is that Satan's desire or not?
Or not, yeah.
Yeah,
because there's only one character we know for sure is doing what Satan desires.
Yes.
And even that comes into question by the end of the show.
By the end of the season, that comes into question too, because you'll see when you get there, because it's like the very last thing that happens in the season. So anyway, Sabrina the Teenage Witch is on Netflix. You should check it out. You should also probably brace yourself for all the Sabrina the Teenage Witch merchandise that is going to hit a hot topic.
Oh, yeah.
This is gonna be I fucking guarantee it.
This is going to be a hot topic. What dream?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I want a shirt that says unholy shit. Like,
yes.
When a character said that, I was like, God damn it, why didn't I think of that?
Exactly. That was one of those, God damn it. Why did no one write that line until this moment? Like, that's like vampires.
Someone probably did, but they probably did in like some random horror movie that no one saw. Like,
Yeah, but it's like that thing in Supernatural. You were pirate vampires, vampirates. You can't tell me no one's ever said that before. No, actually, no one ever has. You're just sitting there going, why didn't I think of that? Why didn't... God damn it. Sometimes the most obvious things have yet to be seen under the sun.
Black cats are going to be really popular after this.
Good. Yes, I agree. I think of all the Funkos that are going to come out. I want to see if they make the Sabrina Satan.
Oh yeah.
You know,
the Satan is so awesome in this show.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's clearly designed off of the Baphomet that the Satanic Church made.
Yeah.
But like it brought to life, living and breathing and moving is
Oh yeah. Yeah, and they do a great job because you get a decent look, but it's like in Jaws, how you get a decent look, but it's done very sparingly.
Yeah.
So you get a good enough look at it.
You can also tell moments where they were taking influence from some of the recent movies that dealt with Satan, because like there's an entire scene in which a character talks to Satan and Satan appears in much the same way they do in The Witch.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know, actually, one thing I don't mind spoiling a little bit is the fact that I was actually really surprised that Sabrina had a literal transformation during the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was just going to be like, because the original Sabrina has like white hair.
Yep.
But this girl has like blonde hair, and I'm like, okay, so she's just going to be blonde in this one.
Blonde.
But by the end of the show, she gets the white hair. And I was like, oh, okay. And the black lipstick and the black lips. I was like, oh, I thought that was just going to be like makeup, but no, there's actually an arc where all this shit goes down and it becomes important.
Yep.
And I was like, that was more than I was expecting.
Yeah.
You know?
And there's a lot of great seeds for next season too. Like I'm looking forward to, and I'm also looking forward to their what is it, the pagan Christmas special?
Yeah, they're doing a Christmas special that's going to be coming out in December.
Yep.
I forget what's the actual name on that damn thing.
I have no idea.
All right, we're gonna figure if we can
December.
Yeah, if we can find it, we'll put it right there. And if not, then it means we couldn't find it because they didn't announce it because of being sons of bitches.
I'm sure they have at this point. I just don't know.
Yeah. All right. So until next time, Fright Nights and Monster Girls. We give Sabrina the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Look, Netflix Sabrina the Teenage Witch. You know what the fuck we're talking about. We give it thumbs up, you know. So until next time, hail Satan, Ave Satanas, Disco Inferno, and keep watching. Wait! Where can they find you?
You can find me at The Horror Guru on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube. Just look for me at The Horror Guru and Twitch.
Yeah, and you can find me at Satanic Jackula on... Look, my Instagram's up there. Just fucking follow that shit. My Twitter, you follow that shit. And check out the stream every Thursday, Sunday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Thursday and 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Sunday. And until then, hail Satan, obviously, blah, 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 blah. Keep watching fucked up movies.